Okay, welcome. Welcome to this, what I will call 5K sprint. It's gonna be literally just like a 20 episodes long journey where I'll take you from, just the introduction of online sales. What the hell is it? How did I start with it? What's appointment setting? What's remote closing? To the point where you'll be able to make 5K a month with it. So, in this episode, episode number one, I just wanted to give you a quick introduction to what online sales is, how did I start, why did I start in the first place, and like I said earlier, how you can exactly take these steps A to Z that I'm gonna be breaking down multiple times a week, and then just get to the point where I'm at right now, because in today's world, there are, you'll see in this video by the way, there are so many side hustles. Let's call them side hustles because I truly don't believe that starting an agency randomly, some marketing ones, some, I don't know, affiliate things, TikTok shops, what else, drop shipping, trading. Yeah, it's just overly saturated, honestly. Every single person is just looking to get into that. But what they don't seem to understand is that the skill of selling is actually majorly involved in all of those side hustles. So let's think outside the box here. So in order to sell any of those services to anyone, in order to make any money, you need to sell something, right? Ever since medieval times, like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 years ago, we as humans throughout history were always involved in trading something for something else. You give me a sword, I give you a piece of bread. You get the point. But you need to know how to actually have these conversations first in order to make these deals as much of a no-brainer as possible to the person you're trying to sell to. And in this video, like to be precise, in this episode, I just want to set the frame for this entire 20 episode journey that you'll take. I just want you to understand. I want to help you understand how making money online actually works. I want to help you understand uh, the whole principle of online sales, and I want you to see it as the core skill behind, like I said, 99% of the online income, whether that's, like I said earlier, drop shipping or digital marketing, trading, becoming a guru, whatever. You just need to learn how to sell. Because let me tell you a quick story. So now, at this point, I'm 22. When I was 19, I started my entire journey with online sales or appointment setting to be specific. But before that, I tried a drop shipping store. I tried to sell some crappy Chinese products. But guess what? I didn't know how to market it. I didn't know how to sell the idea to the person that having my product that I was drop shipping is actually, I don't know, making them feel good or whatever. Simply because I didn't know the principles of sales, you know? And that's exactly what I'm gonna be helping you throughout this journey as well. I want you to understand the difference between appointment setting and closing, which is extremely important, and then just essentially realize why I choose appointment setting over closing and why I definitely feel, might be a biased opinion, might be not, I don't know, you tell me, but I just want you to understand why I feel is the best. But important disclaimer, it's not a get rich quick scheme by any means. Honestly, in the last 3 years, it's never been an easy journey, honestly, full of ups and downs. But as long as you're consistent, as long as you have that mentality to grind day in and day out and kind of have that competitive side of yourself stand out, you're gonna be fine. Because what I absolutely hate is seeing someone else winning when I'm the one supposed to be winning. So yeah, you need to have that mentality of not getting in this hustle, if that's something you're looking for, with, oh, I just want to make some quick money and dip away. No, that's not how it works. My essential goal personally is to kind of build the foundation, make enough money, and then start investing within the next few years in some proper businesses, like, I don't know, spa and wellness center here in my city, whatever. Real estate, even better, you get me. But it's definitely not gonna come overnight. But enough about it. You'll see about all of that in the upcoming episodes. The point of this sprint, just want to show you a step-by-step progression, designed to take you, like I said, from zero to first 5K a month with setting. And the focus is on execution, not just some random theory that you can probably read in a random book or just watch on YouTube, like this video right here. But it's not a random theory. It's something that you can actually utilize and start executing on. You get me? Because like I said earlier, I don't want you to just right now, let's say, take a piece of paper and just be noting things down. is kind of productive, but it's not really productive as it should be, because you're just taking notes, you're kind of receiving that fake dopamine hit, what I call it. And guess what? You finish watching this video, you take that piece of paper, put it in, I don't know, on the desk next to your bed or whatever, and then you just forget about it. You didn't actually even use it, and that's a fake dopamine because it's not actually giving you any progression. I want you to execute, because results are fully performance based. Without consistent execution, you will absolutely not see any results. But on the other hand, I personally, in this 3 years long journey, I've never met a single person who didn't take action, you know, and didn't see results. So every single person that actually took action saw the results eventually, because it's just how it works. No person exists that took action and didn't see any results, because it's just not how it works. And yeah, just no hype, no shortcuts, no crappy passive income promises like with those TikTok shops. Oh, post one video and then print every single day for the rest of eternity. No, it's not how it works, because making money online, you gotta understand the principle of how it works at the highest level, of course, because you're watching this video. I would like to assume that you don't want to just be a mid type of salesperson. You want to be at the highest level, top 1%. That's what we all as men should be striving for. But it comes down to one thing: sales. Everything else, like you can see here, content, ads, outreaches, funnels, it just exists to support sales, because when you perform on these other things such as content, ads, outreach, and funnels, you get people in, you market your services, but how will you be able to convert them? You know, Online businesses generally operate through two different things: attention or traffic, what I said earlier, getting people interested, getting them in your funnel, kind of collecting them, and then sales, which means converting that interest into money. Without knowing how to convert that, without knowing that sales side of things, you will not be able to make any money, no matter how many people you have. If you have thousands and thousands of people, you'll probably fail. I mean, I can definitely guarantee that you'll probably fail with 99.9% of the people that you're having an access to, because you just don't know how to convert. And we as humans are all the same, you know on one end, I'd say, because we're all emotional beings, and if you manage to trigger these emotions and make it, like I said earlier, as much of a no-brainer as possible, you'll be able to convert them into paying customers. And here in this 5K sprint, we will focus on the sales side of business, because as an appointment setter, you'll see in the next video, as an appointment setter, you just have to be placed inside the business, most likely in Instagram DMs, from where you'll be handling all those people that are actually interested. You see here, getting people interested, when you get an access to them through that Instagram that you're going to be logged into, you just convert that interest into money. Like I said, step by step. I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to show you literally step by step, A to Z, how it needs to be executed. So stay tuned for a sec, because first I need to explain these online sales roles, because within online sales, there are two primary roles. First one is someone who is a closer. It means getting on sales calls, talking with people face to face, handling objections, having to close these deals, because without knowing how to close, the business won't be able to make any money. And in all of these scenarios, like I tell you, all right, bro, it's a 5,000 pounds product. How would you like to proceed? And then someone throws an objection. You need to know how to handle it. It's a bit complex, honestly. It's also, there's a higher pressure involved as well, because like I said, you're talking face to face. You're supposed to handle every single lead that you drop, every single prospect, every single person that's interested and doesn't end up paying you is money wasted. You're actively losing someone money as a closer if you're not performing on the highest possible level. You need to have a strong verbal communication, both um from like the vocabulary side of things to the tonality to the body language, all of these things. And you literally must be present on calls, unlike with appointment setting, which is exactly, by the way, why I started it. Exactly why I started, because didn't I just wasn't supposed to be on those calls. I just didn't have enough time, because when I was starting out over 3 years ago now, I played football extremely seriously, and I was constantly on the move, in the gym, on the training session, in a team bus, whatever, constantly driving on the road. And all I could do is just type messages. And then when I look at my screen time, I was like, damn, 10 hours of scrolling TikTok, scrolling Instagram Reels. What the hell am I doing with my life as a 19-year-old? And I was like, let me find some way to make money online. And then my mentor randomly popped up because, as you all know, they're probably listening to us through these devices. So yeah, algorithm favored me. Probably the same way it favored you when you saw my video popping on your For You page. It's a sign, I believe. But yeah, I found that hustle of setting the appointments. And as an appointment setter, as you can see, you start conversations. You handle the traffic that I mentioned earlier. Most usually in the DMs, in Instagram DMs, which is exactly what I've done. An online business owner placed me in his Instagram page from where I will be handling those leads. And that's exactly how it goes. When I'm handling those leads, I just need to think about the quality over quantity, which is exactly why, as a setter, you also qualify prospects. You gotta book the calls that are just likely to close, likely to end up in money being made. I'll also be talking about that later because we're definitely going to be diving way deeper in what appointment setting is. But you need to qualify prospects before booking them on for these calls because, once again, closers are taking those and you don't want to waste their times. But remember, you don't have to take any calls if you are a DM setter. You just need to focus on consistency and volume. But there are pros and cons for both of these. I personally, like I said, choose appointment setting. You'll see in this section right here why. But both roles are crucial because without an appointment setter setting these appointments, closer wouldn't be able to close, and vice versa. Without closers closing those calls, appointment setters wouldn't be making any money because who the hell is going to close if there's no closer in the business? But with closing, since there's more work to be doing and since it's a lot more complex, there's obviously a higher earnings involved. But like I said, more responsibility requires confidence on live calls because you need to be super confident in what you're saying. Because if someone's going to pay you, give you their credit card, you gotta be a top G, I'd say. And I like to consider closing as a modern day 9 to 5, to be fair. Why? Because if you're taking 7 or 8 calls a day, that's like an hour per call. You are supposed to be sitting in your office for that amount of time, constantly going over the same framework over and over again, talking the same things but to different prospects. It's just kind of tiring in my eyes. And once again, you can't be on the beach typing messages and making money. You gotta be present in your office. Because with appointment setting, it's easier to start. I literally sold my PS5 and invested into a mentor, and 4 months in, I made like 3K. You know, Easier to start and learn. It's, I'd say, an amazing stepping stone in your entire online sales journey. Once again, you don't need to be on the calls. It's highly flexible and easier to do from anywhere. 2 years ago when I first went to Thailand, I was literally doing appointment setting there, 10,000 miles away from my home, Croatia. I was in UK multiple times in May. No, it was April, May, and July. Multiple times in UK. Guess what? I was still doing an appointment setting, still making money. I was in Prague not too long ago, still made money. I traveled to North Macedonia like a month ago. Guess what? Still made money. Every single country I went to, I still made money without actually needing to be present on these calls because, yeah, that's what appointment setters do. And essentially, that's exactly why I chose it. Typing is easier than talking for most beginners, especially back then when English wasn't as good for me as it is now. Once again, no need to handle live sales calls, worked from anywhere, needed a phone and Wi-Fi. All I needed, genuinely, sent messages while traveling or moving, which is exactly what I just said. And more importantly, you can get reps in quickly. It's all about repetition, because what is actually stopping me from sending hundreds of messages to people right now? Nothing stopping me. But as a closer, let's say, if no one's booking calls for me, I might go for a few days without, you know, hopping on any calls, therefore, without making any money. Because, yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. You rely on someone else as a closer as well. But as a setter, you can magically create interested people out of thin air. You can just magically create traffic. But once again, you'll see more about it in the next episode. And essentially, yeah, no pressure for me back then. I wasn't a confident person back then, especially as a guy who found himself in this huge American or British market where everyone is fluent in English, and I was just like supposed to make it happen somehow. And I did, luckily. Not luckily, actually. Let me correct myself. With grind, I made myself decently successful, I'd say, because yeah, you can always aim for more. And I also managed to build confidence. Like I said, I wasn't a confident person whatsoever. So yeah, more importantly, which helped me start my own business today. Once again, you'll be seeing a lot more about that in the next episodes. I learned how businesses actually acquire clients, or in other words, I learned how businesses operate behind the scenes. By the way, note this down if it's necessary. It's called backend. I learned how businesses operate on the backend side of things. There's a front end, what I said earlier, content, marketing, acquiring traffic, and then there's backend. All these sales things that people don't see, that are kind of behind the curtains, setting the calls, closing the calls, delivering. Those are the backend things. And I managed by being an by actively setting the appointments for businesses, I managed to learn how businesses actually work, which then I used as a knowledge to start my own business and successfully run it for the last 2 years. It is absolutely the fastest and cleanest entry point into online sales. You know, and to get back on the first thing that I managed to hopefully explain you at the beginning of this episode, it was to help you understand how making money online actually works, you know, and to help you realize that online sales is the core skill behind 99% of online income. And I want you to remember this word right here. I'm actually gonna highlight it. The skill. You need to learn a skill. You genuinely need to learn a skill, because how skillful you are will determine how much money you make. And that's exactly why consistent execution will bring you results. Because here's a simple maths. Let me note it down for you real quick at the end. The more you do it, the better you get. And guess what, bro? More money you make. So, as I said earlier, I've never met a person who was constantly doing it and didn't succeed. Why? Because, if the person actually was doing it with the real intention of getting better, he would make more money. You know, I can try to justify myself like a coward for not making 50K a month, but it's obvious that someone who is making 50K a month is just way more knowledgeable than I am, because he's better than me at some things. So, like I said, fully performance based. If you want to be making 10K a month, you'll do whatever it takes to get to that 10K a month mark. But if you're satisfied with 2K, you'll just lower your bar and be satisfied there. You'll do how much work is needed to get to that 2K a month mark. But like I said, sky is the limit, and you can genuinely, with online sales, you can genuinely be making as much money as you want, fully dependent on you. But yeah, in the next episode, we're going to talk about appointment setting, how it's actually supposed to be done, and multiple other things. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me privately. And yeah, you'll see my Instagram in the descriptions, or you can just, I don't know, type it in on IG Wolf of Croatia, reach out to me there. I don't mind giving you any pointers, as long as you're super serious about succeeding. And yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep grinding.